right, we're live. Go ahead, Grant.
All right. I call the fifth session to order. Um, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, we're live.
Would any
Go ahead,
senator
Grant.
like to do the Pledge of Allegiance? All
I
right.
would.
All right.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The Secretary of the Senate may now call roll.
Senator Kane.
Present.
Senator Sterling.
Present.
Senator Lego. Senator Webby.
Excuse.
Senator Walsh.
Present.
Senator Woodland. Senator Leo.
Present.
Senator Mitchell.
Hold on. Senator Woodland is in the call. He's just not.
But
here.
he didn't answer. Is he? Could you confirm if you're present or not, Senator Woodland?
Saying that
He's here.
He's
He's
typing. Mm-hmm. You're muted.
No.
Woodland.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go on. Senator Anubis.
Present.
Senator Anubis, are you there?
I said present.
He's in the call.
He's
present.
both.
Yeah. Do you mind having muted?
Oh, I do from the USA chat. Oops. Okay. Senator Novak,
Present.
and with that, we have a quorum.
All right. Now that a quorum is official, we will move on to the items. The first item up is a nomination.
Point of
which is-
order.
What is your point of
Never mind. I retract.
All right.
Point of order.
Oh.
We have to have general remarks.
No, that's before. That's after this.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
why
wait,
with
no. The agenda's.
Are you reading off the agenda?
the presentation of the
Yeah,
agenda.
We're
The
doing
opening
the agenda,
remarks.
so let's all calm down and we can present it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So does every senator first of all have the agenda?
Yes,
Yes.
Mr. President.
Mhm.
All right. In that case, does any
I lost track of
senator?
it.
Send
I'll
a
put
link,
it in.
or you
All right.
can.
Yeah. Does any senator also propose any amendments or additions to the agenda?
Let's proceed to a vote.
Second.
All right. In that case, Secretary of the Senate, please call vote for the.
Senator Kane.
Aye.
In that case, Secretary
Senator
of the Senate.
Sterling.
Aye.
Senator Lego. Senator Walsh.
Aye.
Senator Woodland. Did he?
Senator Woodland, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you at all.
Just type it in the Senate chat.
Okay,
he
yep.
said aye.
He says that. Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Mitchell. Senator Anubis.
Aye.
And Senator Novak.
Aye.
And the motion passes.
All right. In which case, the agenda is well passes, and we can proceed to the first item on the agenda. The first item is nomination. Oh, okay. No,
I
you're right. My
request for
bad.
that, by the way.
All right. Senator Walsh, you have the floor.
All right. First, I'd like to thank Vice President Osborne for presiding over today's session, and the senators for attending today. I'd like to say that I'm very proud of the work that this body has done for the past 3 weeks. Thanks to efforts from DHS high ranks and senators, we finally have passed the SAFE Act, and it has officially become law, giving this country the immigration reform we've needed for a very long time. So once again, thank you all for your assistance. Also, welcome to Senator Connor Novak and Senator Lego. I've known these two for a while throughout my career, and I'm confident they'll be able to deliver and fulfill their duties. Lastly, I want to congratulate Senator Mitchell on his nomination to Deputy Secretary of Commerce, and I do look forward to supporting his nomination this afternoon. This evening. I've been in government for a very long time, and I think I can say unequivocally that this is the most productive chamber I've worked with throughout my career. So thanks to everyone for working hard and presenting legislation, and with that, I yield.
I request.
I request.
I heard two at once, but Leo's voice is more prominent, so Senator Leo, you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Welcome to all tuning into the session tonight. Sorry. I'd just like to make one announcement that President Green reached out to Senator Webby, Senator Nubis, Senator Woodland, and myself regarding criminal justice reform. And one of the first things that we're doing, actually one of the first things I already did, was pass the Equal Discovery Act. And the next thing that we're going to focus on, Senator Webby and I, with the help of the rest of the Democratic caucus, we plan on reducing the sentence times in COPA, because they are way too long, and we want to encourage crime, because that will bring activity to our group. So by lowering sentence times, will encourage people to commit crime, because they won't feel like, oh, if I commit a crime, I'm gonna basically end my career in this group. No. So yeah, that's gonna come out in February, along with a revised revision of the Safe Campaigning Act, and I hope that this body will consider them both when they get introduced. Thank you. I yield.
I request.
I request.
Senator Sterling has the floor.
Jesus.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, my fellow senators. It is truly an honor to be serving in the Senate with a good friend, Senator Trooper. I remember him when I first served in the Senate. Well, not serving as a senator, but serving as the secretary. I must say, I was a pretty bad secretary in the beginning, or well, most of the time. I was slow at typing and didn't know how to spell Clements, which was then the majority leader. Senators got sick of this, they motioned to remove me, and it looked like I was going to get removed. But Senator Trooper gave an amazing speech that saved my career as Secretary of the Senate, and will save my whole career, because shortly after that, I got nominated to the House, and if I did not, even if I was a bad secretary, and it got impeached or removed as secretary, I would have never passed House confirmation. That is why I like to thank Senator Trooper, and the Senate Republican Caucus is lucky to have him as a member. He's truly a great senator. Secondly, I'd like to thank our amazing President of the Senate and President Pro Tempore for making today's session happen, and so many other sessions happen, and making this chamber the most active chamber of our Congress, which is an easy thing to do, unfortunately. Finally, I hope that we have a productive Senate session and pass some meaningful legislation. Thank you, everyone, and I yield the floor.
I request.
Senator Kane has the floor.
I would like to say that I apologize for earlier whenever you heard some background noise. I have a hammer sitting next to me on my desk in case any more intrusions happen, so I can throw it down my stairs. Secondly, I would like to say that I was going to give a very heartfelt speech like Senator Agila, but it's not really important to do that because we have more important business before us. Besides my personal life, and thanking everyone from my mother to the man that walked down the street and gave me a nickel for everything that they've done for me today. I hope that we have a productive session. As we all can tell, we've done a lot more than the House has ever done, and I look forward to continue doing so, and I hope that today's session is speedy, and with that I yield.
Motion received.
Second.
I request.
I retract.
Was that Anubis?
What's going on in here? Yes.
You have the floor.
Okay. Hey guys. Good evening. I'd like to first start off with the moment of silence for the next 4 years. So with that, I'd like to have 5-second moment of silence starting now. Okay. Onward. Although there's a rough day yesterday, and the past 2 days have been pretty rough, it's okay, because we have to be optimistic and try to realize that this man's going to try to change the country for the good and not for the bad. Also, I would like to say I support the nomination of future President Nuffley, running for president because he will win without a doubt. JK. But I like our current president, Mr. Connor Green. I would like to appreciate him for being president, and his vice president, Grant Osborne. Mr. Osborne could be pretty inactive sometimes, but he's pretty cool when he's active. And Mr. Connor Green's pretty active for the most part. And he's pretty cool. He approached the Senate about the sentences of the prison, like Leo said. So I guess that was pretty nice of him. I'd like to throw a shout out to the Democratic caucus in the Senate because we are truly the best. And with that, I yield my statement.
I request.
Proceed.
Senator Sterling requested the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, I would like to defend a good friend, Mr. President here. He's extremely inactive, and I don't know about the Democrat caucus, but us in the Republican caucus really appreciate the President of the Senate, Grant Osborne. He's extremely active, extremely. I never doubted him, and none of our caucus members have. I yield the motion to proceed.
I request.
Senator Kane requested
Oh
the
my
floor.
God.
Thank you very much. I would just like to thank Senator Anubis and most importantly, Senator Sterling for wasting valuable time. I yield. And motion to proceed.
Second.
In this case, we will proceed. The first item up on the agenda is nomination of Martin P. Jones for Secretary of the Senate. The floor is open.
Motion for second.
That was fast. All right.
Motion to second.
Shut up.
Senator of the Senate, you may call roll. Or Secretary of the Senate, my bad.
And this is for our first item, Ilya, just to let you know.
All right. So on the first item on the agenda, Timothy Kane, Senator Sterling,
Aye.
Senator Walsh,
Aye.
Senator Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo,
Abstain.
Senator Mitchell. He voted aye.
In the Senate chat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Senator Anubis,
Abstain.
Senator Novak, and with that, the first item on the agenda passes with 6 ayes, 0 nays, and 2 abstains.
Delete the box, sir.
Yep.
All right, we will move on to the second item, which is S1127, the Intelligence Freedom Act of 2017.
Our
Motion
request,
proceed.
Senator Walsh has the floor.
just very briefly. Thank you, Mr. President. Prior to us presenting this bill, a couple of you had some reservations about some of the items or the portions of this bill. Since then, we've made edits that I believe will satisfy this body. The bill essentially outlines instances in which surveillance can be used and ensures civil liberties are not trampled on. So I ask this body to support the bill so our intelligence communities can keep the country safe, and I yield.
I request.
Senator Kane has the floor.
Will the author of this bill before this body yield for a question, Mr. Walsh?
I'm not the author.
Well, it says that you are. I apologize.
I'm
The sponsor of the bill.
Yes, what's your question?
Lovely, the sponsor. What is E? Can you describe what ESP is to this body? Because there's no definition of this acronym.
That is a very good point. ESP is, well, in DC, it is, when you sit in the chair, it is labeled as ESP, and it's pretty much where intelligence agencies can use to look at people in DC, and it only allows you to view citizens and visitors and raiders. So that's what ESP is.
So, according to this legislation, the FBI is the only agency that is allowed to use ESP at any time, correct?
Yes.
And the CIA can only use it whenever they are requested to take part in a joint operation, correct?
Yeah, because the CIA doesn't really do domestic work.
All right, thank you. I yield.
Let's proceed. Oh, never mind. You have stood for right.
Senator Walsh,
He yielded.
or Senator, he yielded, yeah.
I yield to.
Oh, okay.
There was a motion to proceed. Is there any seconds?
I second.
Second.
All right. In that case, we'll proceed to a vote. The Secretary of the Senate may call a vote.
All right. On the second item, the 2-7, Senator Kane,
Aye.
Senator Sterling,
Aye.
Senator Walsh,
Aye.
Senator Woodland, Senator Woodland.
He voted aye in the chat.
All right. Senator Leo,
Aye.
Senator Mitchell. He voted aye in the chat. Senator Anubis
Aye.
and Senator Novak.
Aye.
And with that, the second item on the agenda passes with 8 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
All right. We will now move on to the third item, S1129, Amendment to the Expulsion Act by Alexander Sterling. The floor is now open for discussion and debate.
I motion to proceed.
Second.
All right. We'll proceed to a vote. Secretary of the Senate, you may call roll.
All right. Third item on the agenda, S1129, the Amendment to the Expulsion Act. Senator Kane.
Senator Kane, you're muted. All right. He's not here.
Just mark him as abstain for now.
Yeah. Senator Sterling.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
Senator Woodland.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Abstain.
Senator Mitchell. He voted aye in the chat. Senator Anubis.
Aye.
Senator Novak.
Aye.
And with that, item 3 on the agenda passes with 6 ayes, 0 nays, and 2 abstains.
Mr.
All right.
President,
Yeah.
I would like to put into the record that if I was here, I would have voted abstain at the time my name was called.
All right.
We marked it down as abstain anyway.
We will move on to item 4, S1130, Repeal of the Government Self-Protection Act by Senator Sterling. The floor is now open to discussion and debate.
Motion to proceed.
I request.
Senator Kane has the floor.
This is the fourth item, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So, as the author of this piece of legislation, President,
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Can you explain to this body, since your bill is repealing it, what the constitutional clarification? I mean, the Government Self-Protection Act does. Sorry, the bill that you're wishing to repeal. Can you explain to us what it means?
Well, so when I was looking at the effective law sheet and noticed this bill, and the Constitutional Clarification Act. So I looked at both and realized that they conflict. And the Constitutional Clarification Act is much more detailed than the Government Self-Protection Act. So in the interest of not having two conflicting bills, we must abolish the Government Self-Protection Act, which this bill does.
Can you tell us what portions of it would have been helpful if you linked what these bills were so we could verify your claims ourselves, but can you explain to us where these two bills conflict?
Of course. Let me just quickly get the links up. I have the links up. So in Section 3 of the Government Self-Protection Act, it states that, with the passage of this act, shall have the authority to carry a standard pistol anywhere in DC, Washington, D.C., and shall be exempt from searches and seizures of the United States Secret Service and federal agencies, President of the United States, Vice President of the United States, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, Secretary of Defense, and Deputy Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Homeland Security, and Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security, end quote. And then they go on to say the state deputy, the Attorney General, and his deputy, and White House staff. Now, and there's a little more to the bill about the United States Senate and House that they basically can go and carry arms only in the Capitol, but that's very like a little vague. And I looked at the Constitution Clarification Act, and it specifically outlines that certain officials can carry. I'll send a link in the Senate chat. It in section 5 specifically explains which officials can carry where, where they're exempt from. I sent it in the Senate chat, and I'll explain it also.
If you can go ahead and explain just very quickly, Mr. Sterling.
Yeah, I'm just finding the areas. So in section 5, subsection E. Yeah, subsection E, it states which, like, for example, the President of the United States. And it says the President of the United States only can carry in parts the White House, the Pentagon, the Harry S. Truman Building, the Department of State, which in the other bill it states anywhere. So which that conflicts. This says they can say it only this place, and the other bill states they can really carry it anywhere. And it goes on to say that certain cabinet officials and members of the White House staff and persons in the Senate, persons in the House can carry in certain places. So this is much more detailed, and the other one's more vague, and this fixes that. And personally, I don't really think that the president should be able to carry in the Capitol building, carry a gun in the Capitol building, and plus it conflicts. So that is why I made this bill, and there where it conflicts, Senator.
All right. Thank you, Senator Sterling. And for the record, the next time that you create a bill that is calling for the repeal of something, it would be very nice if you would include the bills that you're describing in your text of your legislation, so we can sit and look at it ourselves before we come into the session. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield.
Motion received.
I motion to amend the bill, adding a hyperlink to the constitutional from the Constitutional Clarification Act to the to where it says in the repeal. The bill I introduced the repeal of it, where it says Constitutional Carry Act. So when people are looking at the bill, they understand it easier.
I second.
There we go. We'll vote on that amendment. Secretary of Senate, could you vote on the amendment?
All right. And okay, Senator Kane.
I'm.
Senator Sterling.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
Senator Woodland.
Abstain.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Mitchell.
Aye.
Senator Anubis.
Okay, that's abstain.
Senator Novak.
Martha is abstain as well, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that, the motion passes.
All right, the amendment will be added. Now we have to vote on the amended version of the document.
I said aye.
That was
we didn't
on
hear
the
you.
amendment. Oh,
We're voting on the amendment to the amendment.
that was the amendment to the.
You mean the amendment to the bill, not the amendment.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So now we'll be voting on the actual bill.
All right, Senator Kane.
I'm.
Senator Sterling.
Aye.
Senator Walsh,
Aye.
Senator Woodland,
Abstain.
Senator Leo,
Yee.
Senator Mitchell. He votes aye in the chat. Senator Anubis
Aye.
and Senator Novak.
Aye.
And with that, the bill passes with 7 ayes and 1 abstain.
All right, we'll now move on to item 5, which is S1131, the repeal of the Constitutional Bedrock Act by Senator Sterling. The floor is now open to discussion and debate.
All right, Quest.
Senator Sterling, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, when I was looking for the Constitutional Clarification Act, because the citizen requested it, I also saw the Bedrock Act bill, and when I was reading it, I noticed that it stated that the Constitution and its amendments must be on Roblox forms, and I was a little surprised considering that our Constitution and its amendments are currently on Google Docs. So, as the Senate standing rules and the House standing rules are also on Google Docs. Therefore, Google Docs are extremely important to us, and that is why we must have it legal for them to be on this document. And currently, it's illegal, and we do it still. And Overseer, McKay agrees with me. We must abolish this bill so that it's legal for our Constitution be on Google Docs, which I think this bill is absurd. And when it was passed, the intention I thought were good. I even voted aye, but it's currently not right for this current time. That's why I urge my colleagues to vote aye so our Constitution can legally be on Google Docs. I yield a motion to proceed.
I request.
Senator Kane has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What is your point of order?
I believe the motion was seconded.
Can I just
Requests
speak?
prioritize over motions.
I apologize.
Thank you. I mean, I know that people in here have the mindset of a racehorse trying to get through these things, but I'd like to speak. I would like to speak in opposition to this bill due to the fact there has been, whenever this bill was introduced, the Constitutional Bedrock Act, there were several people that were concerned with Overseer Clements tampering with language of the Constitution to sit and tweak it a little bit without notifying the public. I do understand that things such as standing rules and things of that nature are also important. However, when it comes to the Constitution being the key framework to this nation, I believe that it is important to have it on a document which sets it in stone instead of on a thing such as Google Docs where it can be sit and messed with from time to time depending on who has access to it. Not saying that anyone would, but I believe that this bill that we're repealing has the intentions of blocking people from tampering with the framework of our nation. And I believe that it is crucial that we keep this bill in place. And if the current Constitution and amendments are not in compliance with this law already, then I hope that if this bill fails, that the Constitution, the amendments will be kept up to par with the Constitutional Bedrock Act. And if any changes are made to the Constitution, that the overseers will update the Constitution and notify it and update the link whenever changes are made to it. So I stand in opposition, and I hope that other senators in this body will do the same. I yield.
All right, Quest.
Senator Sterling has the floor.
Thank you. Well, I do see Senator Kane's point, but I disagree with him for a couple reasons. My first reason is that yes, Overseer Clements could tamper with it, but frankly, he could if he anyways. If we cannot trust him with a document, how can we trust him running elections? How can we trust him with so many important things? And even if we did this, it wouldn't matter because he is the overseer. He has the power to change it if he pleases. I hope he doesn't, but we have to trust him. Senator Kane. And if we cannot trust him in this, then we cannot trust him for election.
Shut the hell up.
I asked whoever.
Please, Senator Kane.
It was not Senator Kane.
That wasn't you?
No, that was not.
Oh, apologies then.
No, it was not.
Whoever does it will be kicked from the Discord.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, as I was saying, we need to trust our overseer. And if we fail this bill, this is sending a clear message to Clements that we do not trust him. And plus, this bill that is repealing the bedrock bill. The bedrock bill is a meaning less. I asked the other senator to please not interrupt me while I was speaking. Thank you. But now my second reason is that if we fail this bill, then that means we should take all our standing rules and move it to Roblox forums, because our standing rules are extremely important in all the bills, because anyone can tamper with the bills or standing rules. So if we use your if we use your ways, Senator Kane, then we must change all our documents to Roblox forums. And that brings me to my third point. It is, in my opinion, it's extremely hard to move it to Roblox forums because some words might be hashtagged, and that bringing a lot of time to Overseer Clements, which Overseer Clements would not do this because that would take more time. Mr. Vice President, of course, I'll try to calm myself down. Well, this will bring extreme time to Overseer McKay and Overseer Clements, and obviously, Overseer McKay sponsored this bill, so it just tells you what his stance is on the matter, and we obviously can tell Overseer Clements' stance on the matter, considering he did not do the change in the first place. Therefore, Google Docs is extremely important. And if we cannot trust the overseer on this, then how can we trust him with our elections? That is why we must pass this bill. If you trust our overseer, and if you want to spare overseers of unwasted time. And if you also want to fail this bill, then you must want to bring all our documents to Roblox forums. I yield.
I request.
Senator Kane has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to reiterate a philosophy that, which Senator Agila couldn't pronounce a minute ago, that dictators in the past had, which is, trust me, I won't do anything wrong. And I've never said that the overseers will do that, but whenever we just give this blind trust to the people who lead us and just say, oh, it doesn't matter what you do, we'll just get on the bandwagon and trust you anyway because you're good people or whatever. I mean, with that whole mindset, then that's how bad things end up happening. That's what happened in the past in history. So I don't know where you get this philosophy that we just need to sit and put our hands over our eyes and follow people whenever it comes to crucial matters. The point I'd wish to raise that Senator Agila brought up, or Sterling, so he doesn't get upset, brought up, is that if we fail this bill, that we're going to have to move all of our laws and all of our legislation over to Roblox forum, which is not the fact at all. The only thing the Constitutional Bedrock Act does is state that the Constitution, and the amendments to the Constitution must be on Roblox forum. I don't think it's a hard thing to understand. I understand that pieces of legislation and other things can sit and be tampered with, but legislation and all of standing rules are not as important to the framework of our democracy, Senator Sterling. So this whole sanctimonious tirade that you went on that, well, if we do this, we're going to have to sit and put all of this on the Roblox forum, and you're just taking up useless time. The fact of the matter is, Senator Sterling, that the Constitution is I can't stress it enough, an important framework to the democracy of the United States of America. And that is why it must be put on Google Forms. That's why Mr. Gatsby introduced this piece of legislation, so overseers cannot tamper with it. And it's not saying that they will, but it is preventing them from the ability to. Now, there have been times where Mr. Ilya said to play this this thing that he recorded Clements saying the Constitutional doesn't say a damn thing about something, probably because Clements might have deleted it, because he just felt the need to, or whatever. Okay? So the point that I'm trying to make is, no, this whole fact that if we fail this bill, the repeal of the Constitutional Bedrock Act, that we're going to have to move all of our legislation over to Roblox form. And the words of Joe Biden is a bunch of malarkey. The fact of the matter is, the Constitution of the United States is more important than pieces of legislation. It is more important than standing rules of parties. And in my opinion, it is crucial that we keep our Constitution and the amendments on Roblox form. And the fact of the matter is that if there are changes made to the Constitution that Leo or Map or James put on, and they just throw it on Roblox form, then we have the ability to sit and see when it was last updated, what the date was whenever they uploaded this form, and put it into the link on our wall. So this whole thing that it's ludicrous that the Constitution and legislation, all of it has to be moved over. The only thing that the Constitutional Bedrock Act is saying is that the Constitution, the amendments, must be put on Roblox form, so it cannot be tampered with. And if that's not a philosophy or something that you can understand, then I am deeply sorry. I hope that, with all decency, that the people in this call will fail this bill, because it is important to protect the framework of our democracy, the Constitution of the United States, and ensure that it cannot be tampered with in the future. I hope my colleagues fail this piece of legislation, not out of dislike for Senator Sterling or anything, but for the fact of the matter is the framework of our democracy is more important than anything, and I hope my colleagues join me in voting against I yield.
I request.
Senator Sterling has the floor.
Thank you. Well, I'd first like to say I respect Senator Kane immensely before I go on. Now I'll go on. Now, first off, even if we move it to forms, Overseer Clements could edit it legally. He could change whatever he wants. He's the overseer. He could literally kick out people of this group, and he has actually done it in the past. And we can hope, we can trust him. And I know you don't like trust, but frankly, it's all we have, because he is, even if we oppose to it, he can change it. And to my second reason, it will take too much time. This bill, this bill is repealing a useless bill. Because even if we fail my bill, Clements will not move it to forms. He will remain it. Therefore, we have a useless bill that is a bill, and we cannot have that. And my third reason is that another overseer, Overseer McKay, opposes this. Also, because of the reason this will take too much time, and it's useless. And you were saying how, and if you didn't misheard me, is that I said that if you think this way, then you must think that this should. I never said that the bill that's being repealed states that legislation. I said that if you think of the way that the Constitution must be on Roblox forums, then legislation that is also extremely important should also be on that one. And frankly, if the Constitution Bedrock Act does nothing, because frankly, look at it. Our Constitution and its amendments are on Google Docs. There's nothing we can change to do that. We could pass resolutions or pass bills saying otherwise, but frankly, it ain't going to do nothing. And we either can repeal this useless bill and enact and do this, or we can just let it sit there and idle and pass more useless bills. And Senator, I know that you don't like useless bills, so I ask you, why must we not repeal this useless bill, Senator Kane?
Are you asking me this in the form of question, Senator Sterling? Well, I'd like to think. So you're asking me why we should not repeal this useless bill that you say that it is, correct?
Yes.
I mean, I think you know a thing or two about writing useless legislation, Senator Sterling. But on to the point.
Can you actually be respectful? Senator, this is the Senate. This is the upper chamber of Congress.
Are you,
this is not
Senator Sterling? Senator Sterling, Senator Sterling, I'd ask you to take some Prozac and chill the hell down. You asked me a question. I'd like to answer it. Thank you very much. The fact of the matter is, I don't understand where you think yelling is going to get your point across. It makes you look immature. But furthermore, the fact of the matter is, Senator Sterling, that the Constitution is the framework of our nation. it is, you can sit and say, well, this legislation is a piece of useless shit all you want, but the fact of the matter is, Senator Sterling, that it is important to make sure that our Constitution is not tampered with whenever the overseers feel like it's necessary to sit and, well, we'll just sit and change this for a minute so it benefits us, Senator Sterling. That is the fact of the matter. And this whole thing that, well, if Clements isn't going to comply with it, well, you know what? If Clements doesn't comply with it, we have Overseer McKay over here that can sit and copy Control-C. It's not a very hard concept, okay? Control-C and then Control-V on a Roblox form, Senator Sterling, and sit and copy it onto a Roblox form. You post it in the description, and then it's done. It's not quantum physics or something to fucking put a Google Doc into a Roblox form and put it on Roblox and put the link on the goddamn description.
Senator,
it is not a very hard script.
I like to take the time back.
Then you can take your time back, and then I'll request the floor.
Okay, good. Well, first, well, I was trying to get my voice over yours because you're kind of interrupting. That's why I was raising my voice a little. That's why I first want to say. And I also like to mention how, well, Overseer Clements can change it. Your all point about, well, we need to have it so Overseer Clements cannot tamper with it or make edits we don't want. Well, frankly, he can do that anyways. Even if we pass this, if we fail this bill, he can do that anyways, okay? And also, back to that whole, oh yeah, it's not called quantum physics or whatever. We can be doing more important things over times, and also with hashtagging, that's a mess. And we could do more important things. Like, we can do more important things than uselessly being repetitive and ranting about things. And that's why I'm just gonna say the bottom line, then yield, and hopefully we can move on, because I frankly think that we've all said enough on this bill, well, at least between the two of us. Is that I think that we cannot have useless bills, and that we should trust the overseer. And even if we fail this bill, the bill that I'm trying to repeal is not doing anything. I mean, it's weightless. It has no power whatsoever. And Clements is already not complying with it. And Overseer McKay is already sponsored my bill. So that just shows you to that. And with that, I yield to Senator.
Senator Kane requested.
Point of order. I yield to Senator Mitchell.
In which case, Senator Mitchell has the floor, I guess. I didn't. Mr. Mitchell, do you want the floor?
I'll narrate for him.
I think Mr. Novak also requested.
He did, but...
So did I.
Well, Senator Mitchell, did you want the floor?
I request.
I request.
All right, Senator Leo.
Thank you. Well, I just like to correct Senator Kane that I actually cannot edit the description. James Clements owns the group, and only the group owner can edit the description, and I yield.
I request.
Senator Kane.
Thank you. Mr. McKay, will you yield for a question?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So how hard is the concept of copy and paste?
Well,
whenever you're transferring information, how hard is the concept?
It is not a hard concept.
Okay. So if we fail this piece of legislation and we move our Constitution to Roblox form, you paste it into the Roblox form. And even though you said that you can't edit the group description, all you have to do is slide Clements a message and sit and say, listen, this is the law. We have to comply with it. Can you put this in the group description? Can you not do that?
That could be done, but I'm judging Clements' activity. I don't think it'll be done in an expedient manner now.
Does Overseer Reed not have access to the ability to change the description?
No, he does not.
So if you were to sit and ask Overseer Clements in a thing that we have something that we need to update on our group description, do you not think that he will do so in a fashion that will get it done?
That is unknown, because in the past, he has been unable to be reached. So we wouldn't really.
So if he's not able to be reached to update, for for a simple thing such as updating a group description, then why is he the Chief Justice of our Supreme Court, and why is he the person holding the group? With all due respect, the group was held by Exorcist originally, and he is the Chief Justice. So if he's not going to be active to do simple things such as update a group description with the Constitution, then why should he sit in the rank of Chief Justice or hold the group when Exorcist originally owned it?
Well, I can't answer that. That's his.
That's a rhetorical question. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
So I want to make the point of this. Yet, Overseer Clemens, Senator Sterling, you're completely correct with your assertion that Overseer Clemens can do whatever he wants. But this legislation's intention is to sit and make sure that there is no future editing to the Constitution without our knowledge, and that's why it was asked to be put on Roblox form. For instance, now that there are several amendments that have been introduced by the Speaker of the House, for instance. All that has to be done is someone goes into a Roblox form, make a copy of it, and then put the changes in, and then we sit and we put that description, that link to the Roblox forum in the description. It's not a very hard concept. The fact of the matter is, I've reiterated this point, I can't stress it enough, that the Constitution is a very important document that, in my opinion, that should be preserved and protected at all costs. And if this bill, the repeal of it fails, I hope that we can sit and copy the Constitution onto a Roblox forum and the edits that have been made recently, ask the Overseer Clemens to sit and put the link to the Constitution in the description, and if he does not do so, we'll just follow the Constitution anyway. We'll put it in the effective laws list. It's not a very hard thing to do, and we can go on about our happy lives. I asked my colleagues, I'm not going to take up any more time, and I have a feeling that Senator Sterling's going to sit and yell after I'm done speaking about how this bill is useless again, reiterating the same thing over and over. But I really do hope that this body fails this bill on the principle that the Constitution of our nation is a valuable piece of document, and it should be protected and preserved by this body and by this nation. I yield.
I motion to proceed.
Senator Novak, I believe, requested. He has the floor.
I would just like to make a point that I've worked in many nations and I've served as the overseer in countless. In fact, sometimes with Senator Kane, and I think he can vouch for the fact that the overseers, what they want, happens, despite the will of the citizens, what the overseers want. So if whoever changes it, you could quit your jobs, you could leave. That's not changing anything. But fighting for easy, efficient, counting it in an easy doc,
Can someone interpret robot?
Connor, you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi is garbage.
All right,
but what I just would like to say the fact that having it in the doc experience with efficiency, and in the end of the day, what the overseer wants happens. That's fine.
Motion to proceed.
Second.
We will finally proceed to a vote. Secretary of the Senate, you may call the vote.
All right. So, on item 5 on the agenda, S1131, Constitutional Bedroom. Senator Kane, your vote.
Name.
Senator Sterling.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
Senator Woodland. Senator Woodland.
He's typing.
He voted aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Mitchell.
He voted aye.
Senator Anubis.
Aye.
And Senator Novak.
A.
And with that, the bill passes with 7 ayes, 1 nay, and 0 abstains.
All right, we'll move on to item 6, which is from the House. It's H.R. 1104, the Senate Confirmations Act, by Speaker Colton.
I
The floor is
request.
now open.
Very
Motion to
briefly.
proceed.
Very briefly. Oh,
Just
very
for a
brief.
second.
Sorry, very briefly. I request.
Senator Walsh has the floor.
Retract.
This bill was recently sent to committee because there were a lot of issues in the bill. There were a couple of positions that were added that should have been. But rather than wait days and days for it to go through committee, for the sake of expediency, I motion to take it out of the committee and make necessary additions. So with that, I ask the Senate to vote in favor, and I yield.
In which case, Secretary of the Senate, you may vote. Sorry. Seconds? Any seconds?
To the motion to amend.
To proceed.
Oh,
Senator Levy, second.
there's already a second.
All right. Secretary of the Senate, you can call the vote for the motion.
All right. Wait, the motion or the bill?
The bill.
Motion. Oh, Bill? It's a bill?
Wait,
All right.
what?
Oh, it was the motion to proceed. All right. I thought you said something else. All right. Yep. It's
Okay.
a vote.
Okay. Senator Kane,
I vote aye.
Senator Sterling,
Aye.
Senator Walsh,
Aye.
Senator Woodland,
Aye.
Senator Leo,
I vote aye.
Senator Mitchell. He votes aye in the chat. Senator Anubis,
Aye.
Senator Novak,
Aye.
and with that, the bill passes unanimously with 8 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
All right. In which case, we'll move on to item 7, which is S1132. It's the Nonpartisan Intelligence Act of 2017 by Director Gatsby. The floor is now open.
Request.
Proceed.
Senator Kane requested, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to state that I stand in favor of this bill for the fact that it is crucial to have a nonpartisan intelligence apparatus in this nation. It's something that we've lacked for a while, as you can see with Mr. Rosie, who started a communist witch hunt when he was named associate director on the behalf of the right wing in this nation. I hope that this body will vote for this piece of legislation to ensure that whenever collecting intelligence that our nation is the intelligence services are nonpartisan, and with that I yield.
I motion to proceed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Senator Sterling requested the floor.
Thank you. Well, if I didn't hear, Senator Kane said that the infamous Rosie started a witch hunt, whatever, because of the right wing movement. Senator Kane, did I hear that right?
I said he did that on the behalf of the right, and if you're going to sit and overgeneralize what I said to include all members of the right, you're sadly mistaken. So if that's what you're going to go on a sanctimonious diatribe about, I hope that you yield and don't make yourself look like a fool.
Senator Sterling. Well, Senator Sterling's gone, I guess.
I motion to proceed.
Second.
All right, Secretary of the Senate, you may call the vote.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, my mic cut out. My computer just shut off on my mobile. Do I still have the floor?
Sure, I guess.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Well, Senator King, can you finish what you said? I didn't hear you. You said overgeneralized, then I cut out.
What I said is it is known that Rosie is a right wing individual in this group, and he did it on the behalf of certain members of the right wing. So before you go and overgeneralize it, I hope that we yield and can go on to bigger and better things.
Okay. I just want to make clear that the Republicans don't like Rosie, and I yield a motion to proceed.
Second.
That was a wonderful. Thank you for speaking on your behalf.
We will proceed to a vote. Secretary Senator, you can call the vote.
All right. And on the 7th item on the agenda, S1132 nonpartisan. Senator Kane, your vote.
I vote aye.
Senator Sterling.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
Senator Woodland.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Mitchell. Senator Mitchell. Oh, oops. You voted aye. I was in the general chat on accident. Senator Anubis.
Aye.
Senator Novak.
Aye.
And once again, the bill passes unanimously with 8 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
All right, we'll proceed to item 8, S1133, the Additional Secure Airspace Act, but also by Director Gadsby. The floor is now open.
Request.
Senator Leo has the floor.
Okay, so earlier this month I passed the Secure Airspace Act, which only applied to the White House. The same aspects apply. It's a gated federal property. Secret stuff goes on in there. We don't want people getting to the ESP monitors, because I believe anyone that sits in the seat can access them. So that's one of the reasons why we should pass this bill, because we don't want random citizens flying over, breaking into Pentagon, and illegally spying on fellow citizens. And the same concept applies to the White House as it applies to the Pentagon, in my opinion. We should not have people flying in using wings. It's just unrealistic, and it threatens the national security of people. It threatens the security of people inside, not national security. I'm sorry. And I yield the motion to proceed.
Second.
All right, we'll proceed to a vote. Secretary of the Senate, you may call the vote.
All right. On item 8 of the S1132 Additional Secure Airspace Act, Senator Kane.
I vote aye.
Senator Sterling.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
Senator Woodland.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
I vote aye.
Senator Mitchell. He votes aye in the chat. Senator Anubis.
I'm going to vote nay.
All right. Senator Novak.
Aye.
I think that was an aye.
That was an
I
aye.
think it was.
That was an aye.
All right.
Okay.
And with that, the bill passes with 7 ayes, 1 nay, and 0 abstains.
Yay.
All right, we will move on to item 9. This is the last item on the agenda. It is another nomination. It is a nomination of Senator Mitchell to Deputy Secretary of Commerce. The floor is now open for discussion. And
I request.
Senator Sterling has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry, Senator Mitchell. Now, Dave Mitchell. That name stands for many things. For me, it stands for a good friend and a whip I can always count on. I have had many.
Poetry.
I'd ask all senators to keep their comments to themselves.
Oh.
Now, for me, it stands for a good friend and a whip I can always count on. I have had many assistant leaders, and of all of them, I must say that Senator Mitchell is the best. He's always pretty kind. I ask that Senator Kane mutes his mic.
Angela, it's a child. Shut up.
Use the hammer. Just kidding.
I would like to use that on
Senator
this
Kane,
point, but
please.
Please
break.
proceed.
Please stop. Thank you. For a good friend and a whip I can always count on. I've had many assistant leaders, and all of them, I must say that Senator Mitchell is the best. He's always there to take my place as leader if I'm absent, or he's always there to assist me as leader. Secondly, I must say he's close and a good friend with Secretary Skoll, the Secretary of Commerce, of course. And a deputy needs to be close with their secretary so they can meet with the secretary so they can always work together and count on each other. And Secretary Skoll and Senator and maybe future deputy secretary after the session, Mitchell, are good friends. And we need that in the commerce department, considering that it's just reviving itself. And thirdly, I must say that Senator Senator Mitchell has a good record in the Senate. We've always been a good weapon, having a good attendance record. That shows he'll be active in the Commerce Department, and also with a good record in the House as serving in leadership positions. It shows that he entitles leadership. And unfortunately, but if this secretary has to resign or has to take a leave of absence, Deputy Secretary Mitchell, if he becomes one, will be there for him, and we need that. And even though when I vote aye, I might regret it a little, considering that we, the Republican caucus and the Senate, have lost one of our best members, Senator Mitchell. That is why we must vote aye for an active Commerce Department. I yield.
Motion to proceed under my hear request.
Senator Mitchell has the floor.
I'll narrate for Senator Mitchell.
I request to narrate.
I'm the minority leader, and Mitchell requested that I
How about
read.
the secretary, Nick?
Rip you, Leo.
Oh,
Quote.
Are you gonna read the damn thing?
Should I read it?
I got it.
Just read it, Leo, or whoever. I don't care.
I believe that I would do great as Deputy Secretary of Commerce and would work well with Secretary Sound School. Today, I helped them create regulations for people wanting to add their businesses to Washington. During my term, I would like to lower the unemployment rate from its current 92.96%. There are too many unemployed businesses, and that needs to stop. A way to get that to stop would be to create businesses. There are currently 2,537 unemployed citizens, which is 93% of the population rounded, and 192 employed citizens, which is 7% of the population rounded. While creating a few businesses won't bring that down as much as I'd like, it will still make an impact on our unemployment. Thank you.
Motion to proceed.
Second.
we will proceed to a vote. Secretary of the Senate may start on the vote.
All right. Dave J. Mitchell for Deputy Secretary of Commerce. Senator Kane, your vote.
I vote aye.
Senator Sterling.
Aye.
Oh, God. Senator Walsh.
Aye.
Senator Woodland.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
I vote aye.
Senator Mitchell.
He votes aye.
Senator Anubis.
Aye.
Senator Novak.
Aye.
And with that, the nomination passes with 8 ayes, 0 nays, and 0 abstains.
All right. In which case, we have completed all the items on the agenda, and we will be proceeding to opening or closing statements.
I request.
The floor is open, and Leo requested
Shit.
first.
Thank
Leo,
you.
you have the
Shit.
Well, I'd like to I congratulate the Senate on a great session tonight. All of the things passed. And due to the fact that Dave J. Mitchell has become the Deputy Secretary of Commerce, I will firstly congratulate him for that. But now I'd like to get on a plane tonight and move back to my home state of New York, serve as the junior senator from New York. I hope to serve the people of New York well and represent them in Congress to the best of my ability. And yeah, I yield.
I
right,
request.
I request.
Senator Sterling has the floor.
Thank you. First, I'd like to thank all of my colleagues and the presiding officers, including Walsh, for making this a special and a great session. And I'd like to congratulate my dear friend and our next Deputy Secretary of Commerce, Dave J. Mitchell. He'll be a great Deputy Secretary of Commerce, and it's sad to see him leave the Senate Republican caucus and the Senate. He was an amazing assistant leader. This is very, very, very sad. And happy at the same time. So it's extremely bittersweet. Now, my second point is that that this was truly a productive Senate. I'd like to thank the Senate for passing my 3 bills, and hope the House does as well and considers my bills. And thirdly, I'd like to thank Senator Kane for making this a good session and having debate, because frankly, a debate makes Senate sessions better. They make bills better, make many things better. Even though the debate got pretty heated and maybe some words were flown across that we both regret, I'd like to thank you, Senator Kane, and I respect you extremely. And finally, I like to wish Deputy Secretary now, Dave J. Mitchell, in the Department of Commerce and in his future. Thank you, everyone, and I yield the floor to Senator or future Deputy Secretary Dave Mitchell. Point of order, I yielded to Dave Mitchell.
Indeed.
The presiding officer.
Deputy Secretary Mitchell.
And I'll narrate.
Floor. And Sterling narrates.
Damn it.
Quote, as I've been confirmed to the Department of Commerce, I would like to thank all of you for being great senators and having a great term, and I look forward to continuing to work with you all, but in a different way. Thank you to Vice President Osborne, President Pro Tempore Walsh, Leader Sterling, and all the other members of the Senate for making this shortened term great.
I request.
You didn't yield yet.
Yeah, Mitchell has a yield.
Thanks.
I request.
Thanks, Lily Hart.
Lily. Senator Walsh has the floor.
Well, first, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Mitchell for being confirmed as Deputy Secretary of Commerce. He's been honestly a really good asset to the Senate, regardless of what his party affiliation is. And I'd also like to thank the members of the Senate for having a productive session. There was a lot of debate, maybe a lot of swear words in the mix, but overall it was a very productive debate. So I'd like to thank everyone for that. And with that, I yield.
Motion adjourned.
I request.
Second.
Senator Kane has the floor.
Thank you very much. Seeing again that the race horses in this chamber wish to go ahead and adjourn, I have a couple of things I'd like to say before we leave this evening. First, I would like to congratulate Mr. David J. Mitchell on his confirmation for the Deputy Secretary of Commerce. It is pronounced Commerce for the record. Secondly, I would like to thank my colleagues for sitting through this kind of lengthy session. I know the majority of you are eager to leave, so I'm going to try to keep what I have to say this evening very brief. I would also like to thank, even though it hurts my heart to say this, Senator Sterling for a debate that was heated at moments, and apologize for derogatory terms that were used throughout the course of what I was saying. But that's besides the point. I would like to bring up a point that was brought up during the debate of the Constitutional Bedrock Act, and then I'll go ahead and yield, because I think it's an important point to bring up. Senator Novak brought up the point that we've been overseers in the past, and that it is basically overseers can do what they want. The fact of the matter is if we sit and we allow our overseers of this nation to have unchecked powers, then they become tyrants. It's what we saw in American Patrons USA, and that's what happens to a lot of grown nations across Roblox. I would like to just say that the fact of the matter is tonight the Senate had an opportunity to stand against tyranny, and it had an opportunity to stick it to the overseers and show them that the Congress is the one that legislates and the executive branch is the one that enforces laws. And regardless of the feelings of the overseers, we have laws that we must follow, and it is their duty to comply with them just as much as it is the duty of the citizens of the United States. Regardless if an overseer feels like a law is needed or not, the fact of the matter is that we are a democracy, and we have the ability to have legislation presented before us and passed or not, regardless of how they feel. Furthermore, I would just like to say that I hope that this trend of repealing things that are good, such as the Constitutional Bedrock Act, does not carry on throughout the remainder of this term. I truly believe that it was a crucial moment that we had to make the point that even though James Clements doesn't want to comply with this law, even though James Clements doesn't like this law, the Constitutional Bedrock Act was passed by Congress. It was signed into law, and he should have to comply with it. And what this body did is it cowered away and basically said, well, fuck it, it's not a fight that we want to have, so we'll just go ahead and let you do whatever you want, regardless of the opinions of people in this group. I'm deeply disappointed in that fact of the matter. Furthermore, I would just like to say that I do hope that we have productive sessions in the future, and I look forward to hopefully having some more real and meaningful debate like we did this evening. And hopefully one day we will all grow a pair of balls and tell the overseers that whenever laws pass, they have to comply with it, whether they like it or not. With that, I yield and I motion to adjourn.
Second.
In which case, we'll vote on adjournment.
I request.
No, we requested after we.
Well, hurry up! I need to say something.
Yeah. Requests are more important than motions. Senator Anubis, you have the floor.
Okay. I would like to let it be known that the hearing of David 1, the general going up for assistant commandant, has not been held yet because he is dodging the Senate and also dodging being online, and he is pretty inactive. There's a lot of evidence to why he should not be assistant commandant. I have tons of evidence that I can show for it to the whole entire Senate, and I was going to wait for this until after the hearing, but I guess it has to be taken to drastic measures about David 1. Also, he feels like he has the whole Senate wrapped around his fingers, and that we are just going to bend down to him, and all give him eyes. And he feels like he's better in the Senate and have higher authority of the Senate and even higher authority of African savior. Also, let it be known that the vice chairman and I are very close friends, and we keep in contact. So I would like to leave it off on that statement, and have a good night. I yield.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, now we'll proceed to adjournment. And Secretary of the Senate may call the votes.
All right. Senator Kane.
Aye.
Senator Sterling.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
Senator Woodland.
Aye.
Senator Leo. Senator Leo.
Yeah.
Senator Mitchell. He votes aye. Senator Anubis.
Aye.
And Senator Novak.
Aye.
And the motion passes.
All right, I hereby call the session adjourned.
I'm a snack.
I'm a snack.
Terrence, this is not a joke.